Now in Osun State, the battle over local government funds is now before the nation's highest court. Governor Adeleke is challenging the continued non-release of allocations meant for the 30 local government councils and the area office, adding that withholding the funds undermines local autonomy and development. He also noted that the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, lacks constitutional power to seize local government funds, adding that his actions contravene valid court judgments and that all withheld allocations be released directly into the accounts of the duly elected councils. As the case progresses, all eyes will be on the ruling, one that could redefine the financial powers of local governments across Nigeria. Joining us in the studio for this conversation is the Executive Chairman, Nigerian Capital Development Fund, Hareta Oralusi. Thank you so much for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, so there has been forth and back over the withheld allocation of Osun State, and then the people, or probably the critics, will be saying that, listen, we need these local government funds to be paid directly to them. So the forth and back, could you help us understand exactly where this problem started from and how the people, definitely will be at the center of this and bearing the brunt?
Okay, thank you. Good morning once again. I don't think there's any problem regarding local government funds. I think the problem is regarding the legitimacy of the elected officers. We all are aware that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's first achievement was to fight for the local government autonomy, which Supreme Court judgment was given. And it is very clear that to assess the local government fund, you must have a legitimate, elected political office holder in place. Yeah. And in Osun State, there have been issues regarding the previous administration election and the current administration local government election. Yeah. And to the best of my knowledge, I understand that the last recognized elective officers were the one done in 2022. So, and they are meant to resume as the local government elected official. Yeah. And if they resumed, then they could go and apply for their funds. So when the government is saying local government funds were withheld, I do not understand. There's a financial autonomy of local governments. If there's anything like that, why can't the local government approach federal government? What is the role of the states? Is this the state's money? This is the things we do politically and trying to create instability for our society. It is clear that there is clear rule. The state, there should be financial autonomy to local governments. That's right. Sure. So now the problem, I think, is the legitimate elected officers are the APC. For them to assess these funds, they need the civil servants, which is the local government official. Now, those guys were told they're on strike. And the rule is you need to open an account, either with CBN or commercial bank. I don't know what the final decision on that was. And then the government, the federal government, pays your allocation directly to you into your account. Then, but if the executives, the executive civil servants are not working, they're on strike, which they are not supposed to be partisans in this case, for the purpose of, for the benefit of the grassroots Nigerians. Then the legitimate, recognized, elected officers with the local government executives will be able to approach the bank, open the bank account, apply for their funds, and get it. So nobody withheld, to the best of my knowledge. What the government of Osun is trying to do is to establish that they are the legitimate local governments.
But not to cut you short here, this matter has been dragging for a number of times. We've been speaking about it a lot on the show. We can't speak about this without speaking on the fact that, the governor apparently has been paying civil servants from his pocket. I'm sure you know about that as well. And they're really suffering. It has been on and on. We've been speaking about it. Or why are they not having their own money? Why are the local governments still not having their anatomy? And we are saying it is easy to just say, oh, but what is really going on? What is the reason?
What is really going on is politics. And when you say he has been paying the local government or the
civil servants, yes,
from his own personal
yes.
funds. Which personal funds? Can we define that? Where is that established? Do you mean state funds or personal funds? When you say personal fund, that has to be really defined. We have to understand what the personal funds mean. The truth is that this is purely, for me, is a misinformation. And it is for me unacceptable for you giving people wrong information of the real fact. The real fact is that nobody holds on the local government funds. You need local government, each local government needs to apply for their own funds. Get this labor union back to the local government to work. Let them work with the legitimate elected officer recognized by the court, and let them go to the federal government and apply for their funds and run. Look, local government has gone beyond the issue of paying salaries, as usual. Local government should be in the front of Nigerian development. The reason President Bola Tinubu fought for the local government autonomy was because he understands the importance of local government. And he knows that all these agitation right now, if we have a functioning local government in Nigeria, it will not happen. Local government is very critical and very important in any society. Yeah. Okay, if we have a copy and paste democratic system, which is purely American system we're using. Do you know New York is a local government? When they say New York, it's a local government. Yeah. Do you know that a local government, someone like Michael Bloomberg, Galdiani, they were only local government mayors. And from there, they went straight to the presidency in America. That means if our local government are really functioning, we will build such a local government chairman that will even vie to be a president of Nigeria. That's what it means in the template. Meaning that autonomy of a local government is critical for the grassroots development. So that is what the federal government is talking about. Yeah. So every other thing, they are just trying to politicalize it, because the usual thing is that states hijack the money of local government and now give them money to go and pay salary. True. No. Local government should be in the forefront of development. Like my office, we will prefer to work directly with local government, because even a state house is within a local government. Here we are within a local government. That's right. So if the funding is available to the local government, then local government will be able to have their own independent transportation system, agro-industrial hubs, and so many infrastructure, healthcare, education, which is what the local government should be doing, just like every other society. But if we don't do that by just finding a way to politicalize every issue, no, this is purely technical. They're going to court for interpretation or trying to understand who is really the legitimate elected officer. It's fine. That I think I support, so that they stop translating or interpreting court judgment to favor themselves. Let the Supreme Court tell who is the legitimate elected officer, so that the grassroots people can benefit from the plan, really design how a local government will have autonomy for national development.
I guess also Osun State is actually arguing, based on the fact that they said, yes, the court, the Supreme Court, the court had already settled the election disputes, saying that, yes, these are the legitimate local council, chairpersons. And they're saying that the federal government is overstepping overstepping its boundaries by withholding these local council funds. How does this, case test Nigeria's balance of power between the federal and state authorities? Because it looks like, the federal government is saying what we are doing is constitutional. The state government is saying, no, it is not constitutional. What is constitutional is the fact that you are not respecting the Constitution, because the court had already settled this matter. So why should you still be withholding the funds?
It goes back to what I'm saying. Do they have, there's nothing involved federal government here. The issue is between the PDP and the APC. Yeah. It's political party. While one political party is saying, we have the legitimate election and we are supposed to be in the office. This one conducted election. Don't forget, the Osun State government went to conduct election the last time, not meeting the regulatory requirement of INEC, that's why they had a problem with that election. And they were notified in advance. I remember Attorney General of the Federation notified them that, look, don't go ahead. You must follow the due process. You must follow the guideline of the INEC before the election is conducted. You went ahead. And the federal government, like I said again, did not stop payment of any local government. What happened now is let who is the legitimate local government elected officer. Now, they need to work with the career officers to apply. Each local government should apply for their funding, and I'm sure the federal government will have no objection to release. It is not what is the role of Adeleke or his government helping local government to go and look for them. If the local government do exist, let them apply. Let them apply. If anybody should go to the court regarding the funding for local government, it should be the local government involved. What is the role of a state government if we truly have a local government financial autonomy? If I'm owing you money, she's taking me to court. So why? Or TVC is taking me to court. So if Adeleke goes to the court regarding election between the APC and PDP dispute, I can understand that. But for the funding, it's a different issue.
You know, I was just going to come to you on this. You know, how do you see this ruling ending? You know, because they already said they are going to court. In your opinion, how do you think this is going to end?
Well, I am not a legal practitioner, but what I think is that it is very clear. If there is an order that established or a judgment that established that, yes, these guys are the legitimate and they are meant to be in the office, I think they will be allowed to finish their tenure before another election, could go on or could be done. But I'm not going to preempt what the Supreme Court is going to say, but I think it's a welcome development for every party to have a clear, interpretation of what the previous judgments.
So if I'm getting you right, you're saying Governor Adeleke should not be the one, taking this case to court?
No. He can take the case of legitimacy of an election to court. But when it comes to the funding, it is not his role.
Okay.
So
any subset local government recognized by the court should approach federal government for their funding, and if they refuse to give them, they can go to court themselves.
If you look at the APC,
because they are arm of government,
right,
and they should be established independent. They should be allowed them to play their role.
If you look at the APC in Osun State, they have criticized Governor Adeleke for filing a new Supreme Court suit just 6 weeks, after withdrawing a similar case, calling it a sign of confusion and incompetence. They also argue that this flip-flopping undermines the state's credibility and suggests a lack of, clear strategy. Do you think there is merit in this criticism? And
what they are trying to say is that there's a court judgment in favor of APC already that's stating that they are the legitimate council chairman, council executives. So you going to court now is like you trying to destabilize the entire society. But Adeleke also have his own right to seek proper interpretation of whatever it is he wants to seek. But for me, it should be two separate issues. Fighting for the political party or legitimacy of an election is a different case. Funding to the local government, my interest is the funding of the local government because of the grassroots. Because the grassroots are the ones suffering from all these unnecessary disputes. Let the local government, whoever is recognized at the moment by the competent court of law to be the local government executive, let them work with the civil servants and let them apply to the federal government to get their funding, and let them give this funding to the grassroots for development. It's beyond, like I said, it's beyond just looking at local government as a salary paying institution. Now local government should go into proper development. And they should allow also qualified people, like I said. If a local, look at the last mayor of Atlanta. Atlanta, many people don't know that Atlanta is not a state. Barely people believe Atlanta is a state, but it's Georgia. But because Atlanta City Council is a local government, performs so well globally, is more popular than Georgia as a state. That is what we can get as a result if we allow our local governments to strive, where they will be so effective, so popular, and they can reach directly to the grassroots quickly. So if government funding goes straight to the local government for grassroots development, the agitation currently will reduce to the barest minimum.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you, because a lot of times we know that if these people have their own money in their hands, tends to be better in terms of salaries being paid, education and all of that. But my question is, I was reading somewhere where people say we politicize everything, that we forget about, you know, the grassroots. Right. And these people are really suffering right now, you know, as they do not have money to take care of themselves and all of that. But what do you think can be done? You know, what are solutions? Because we keep on speaking, but what are some of the solutions you think that will be done to make the grassroots also be able to have their own money and sort out their own bills by themselves? Like you gave examples, you know, I want money. You shouldn't, if you want to give me money, you shouldn't pass through Ibrahim. You can give me directly.
Yes, well, that is the steps President Bola Tinubu took immediately got into the office to make sure that there's a local government autonomy. That was the first step. And I believe that the National Assembly also needs to create or support these moves by providing laws and proper laws that will enhance this effort to make sure that we have independent local government operations in Nigeria, so that the suffering of that is the easiest way to get to the grassroots, like we all agree. And if that is not done, so I think the steps has already been taken by the Mr. President himself, but we only need to support that effort through legislation and through civil societies. Yeah. Civil society also needs to rise up right now and let us all agree that, look, if we do not have proper functioning local government like other parts of the world, when you go to England, you hear Bromley, Lewisham, these are all local councils. Yeah. How many times they are so popular because of their performance, and I don't need to know the governor of my state if I live in New York. If I live in New York, I just need to know my council mayor. So many people will not be even interested in knowing who is the governor, because they have their chairman local government they can just reach out to.
That's right.
And they can also go to work themselves and meet the people one-on-one. Well, the governor goes to, how do you do that? So without that, I don't know how we want to do this.
Looking at the morality, you know, in this whole thing, because the APC, which happens to be the opposition in Osun State, they claim that Governor Adeleke's administration owes local councils 84 billion, naira, alleging that the state illegally withdrew funds despite the Supreme Court's ruling on local government autonomy. So if they are not going to court, how do you think Osun State has that moral and legal standing to challenge the federal government on this?
I don't even know. I'm sure the issue of funding is political statement. I think what they will be asking in the court is the legitimacy of an election. If they go to court for funds being, you cannot accuse me I'm owing you money if I'm not owing you money. I think it's very clear that they do not have that, they call it local standing law or whatever, to even go to,
local standard.
Yes, to even go to and say, because in the first instance it's not your money. Then the reason for you fighting for that money is because you want to continue the whole practice, taking money from the local government and giving them money to pay salary. And that should be the reasons why Nigerians should rise against this and say, look, local government is not meant for salary pay. Local government is the arm of government for Nigerian development. It's centered to development of the grassroots in Nigeria. I'm looking for a job. I live in Iyanokpaja, and you are telling me that I have to find transport fare to go to Alausa, to go to job center. If local government functions, there will be a job center in Iyanokpaja there in the local government, and I do not need to have money for transportation. Youth will be able to go to their local government. A lot of things will be able to happen in local government. But when you turn local government, pay teacher, pay health workers, and the remaining one, I will help you to do what? And they will say, I heard somebody saying, oh, they do not have the capacity. When you make glorified PAs, the local government chairman, how do they get capacity?
Exactly.
I have a lot of friends overseas here doing very well. Their dream is not to be a governor. Their dream is not to be a president. Their dream is basically to be a local government chairman. Because they've done so well and they want to retire, but they just want to give back. These people are very much interested in being local, but the structure today Who is going to go and say, I want to contest for local government chairman, when I know that government decide who is going to be, and because he wants them to bring back the money and the stuff like that.
Right. So it's like they don't give them, you know, the ability to show what they can do. That's what it looks like for me. You know, it's like they're holding them back, when if you give these people the ability, they can do more. But, you know, I also know that in public view, the governor, Adeleke, he called APC's actions as a rip of democracy, accusing security agencies as well when it comes to this issue.
Accusing of democracy. What is democracy? I think of Adeleke used to say he used to live in the United States. Is it how it's done in the United States? You could have asked him that question. Is this the way it's practiced in the United States? Does a governor of a state, United States, intervene in the local government finances in the United States? Do a governor of the United States deduct money from the local government account in the United States? So why do you practice that and you are talking about democracy? We should have a fear of God. The grassroots, the masses are the ones suffering from all this action and inaction. We need to have a fear of God, and we need to be genuine. There must be genuinity in the development of Nigeria. Recently I went to a state in the North Central, and I was in the government house. I had a good meeting, and coincidentally it was an event where the local government, we have a project in the state where the local government chairman of that state, of that council, actually was at the meeting, at the event as well. So I saw him. I didn't bother myself discussing with the governor. And I promised the local government chairman that we will visit him. And truly, with my team, we visited this local government chairman, and we were well received by them. I saw what they were doing. Instantly, we donated a website to them. Instantly, we start supporting them with capacity development. They set up an investment team that will work with our team in investing in infrastructure in that local government. We created the proposal with them. They will take it to the governor for approval. We were so excited because that is what we're just looking for, to create a template, to just do something where maybe others could look at and say, it is possible. That's right. So this is the joy of everyone, because if we create employment there, we create jobs there, the people in that local government will benefit from it.
Right. So now the government and the oppositions, all of them are having a forth and back on who takes what, you know, over what right. And the people are there suffering and they're watching. How do you think they should react? Not violently, maybe during election season. And that's on the one side. How do you think the people should, you know, handle this matter themselves, because it's what affects them directly? That's on the one hand. On the other hand, should we begin to criminalize any governor, especially people in that government that had a hand in dipping their hand one way or the other in mismanaging the local government fund, or in cornering the local government fund under the guise of politics or politicking or anything, so much so that, yes, we know that they have immunity when they're in power. As soon as they're getting out of power, they get arrested because they've denied people their legitimate rights of good governance.
Okay, in terms of criminality, I think the security agencies are doing much right now. I was reading about how ICPC are working out with the local government, also even in capacity development.
The AFCC
I think they are actually on the right track when it comes to that. But regarding the citizen, the question is, our Nigerians are currently vulnerable due to situation. The question is, Nigerians, do they have right information? Do they even know what we are discussing here at the grassroots? Do they know the importance of all this? Or somebody, because you know, you dehumanize people and you give them peanuts, so they are celebrating the peanut, not knowing that they actually owns the entire thing you are giving them peanut from. I think there is need for civil society engagement, where people are educated before even election at all. People must know the structure. People must understand the revenue formula. People must understand different things to be able to make a formal decision for their future. I think there's a need for proper civil society, not political party. Political parties have the responsibility to cater for their own interests. But the civil society could help citizens independently to let them understand that, look, this is what local government can do. If we have a functioning local government, then the people will be able to stand up for their rights. But right now, Nigerians are technically dehumanized. And if a father does not have food for the children, for the wife, and you are asking the person to talk about right. What's right? He's more concerned about how does the food get to the table of my family. And that is the situation we have. That is why I think civil society, organized civil society, needs to start doing the right thing. Government also needs to support them because they also need some level of incentives to be able to perform this function so that the grassroots people understand the function of government, the formula of revenue sharing, and so many basic things to be able to know that, oh, this government is actually cheating us, giving us peanuts. We actually have the right to have all this. If we have all this, what are we going to do with it? So
that's right.
We need governors. We need governors forum also to rise and support the federal government to help some states. Some governors are doing wonderfully well.
Absolutely.
Look at the governor of Edo. The governor has a similar case. The federal government, the same Attorney General also sent a message to Edo State regarding the election. What did the governor do? He didn't take on any drastic action. He begins to, go back to the Gora community.
There's a lot that can be said on this topic, a whole lot.
You've said a whole lot, especially, with the issue affecting Osun State. We believe that the people of Osun State are watching and they'll definitely see how this whole thing will pan out, in their favor, we presume. Executive Chairman, Nigerian Capital Development Fund, Hareta Oralusi, thank you so much for your